Welcome back, everybody, to another Purpose Served podcast episode. You already know it's your boy Daryl Wingfield. Happy New Year to y'all. Happy 2025. We're going to start this off with a quote from Daniel Levinson, who was the founder of a field of positive adult development of psychology. But this is his quote about dreams, the dream. Whatever the nature of his dream, a young man has the developmental task of giving it greater definition and finding ways to live it out. It makes a great difference in his growth whether his initial life structure is consonant with and infused by the dream or opposed to it. If the dream remains unconnected to his life, it may simply die, and with it, his sense of aliveness and purpose. Damn. That's how we're going to start this podcast episode off. Not letting your dreams die. And I'll tell you what, the older that you get, the chances increase of your dream dying. And we're about to go back to the roots of how all of this started. This purpose served thing. But essentially, I wanted to provide inspiration to people that didn't feel like they had it in their own life through, I guess, the words that I speak. And I can only do so much, like, for real. That could only do so much. But you have to, find the inspiration truly within yourself to live on. And if you don't got no purpose that you living off of, you essentially living a dead life. And people that live off of purpose, you can tell that they living off of purpose. You can tell that what they doing they truly care about, and it shows in their work, it shows in their art, it shows in their writing. And yet again, there's countless amount of people that I point out that it clearly shows, and you can't even, it's so hard to in a sense, to I guess, like I said, just put it in the words. But it's a collective amount of people that I want to say personally that I talked about throughout the years that helped me shaping my dream and my purpose for what I'm trying to do in the direction that I'm trying to, I guess, go in my life. But I had to find a way to use other things that interest me, use other people, and create my own way through that. And without me doing that, I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing right now as we speak. But my primary focus, as always, is the youth. And in order for a dream to come about, it ain't going to be sunshine and rainbows all the time. In fact, it's going to be more difficult than anything. But due to the fact that you love doing what you do, the difficulty really don't matter. You're going to put in the work regardless. And since I play basketball, that's the only thing that I can really put into reference. It's other things, but I'm most likely going to be going to other things. But basketball, just leaving it to that. I'm at this point, I like training kids and a couple of older people, but the one thing that I notice is that people want to skip out on the basics. People want to skip out on the fundamentals. People want to skip out on the building blocks. And they just want to do what LeBron is doing and doing what Steph is doing without understanding that they mastered the basics. In order for you to write a page, you need to be able to write letter by letter, word by word, sentence by sentence, paragraph by paragraph, until you fill up a whole page. And that's essentially going back to that quote that I just read, it makes a great difference in his growth, whether his initial life structure is consonant with and infused by the dream or opposed to it. And as a young man, you have the developmental task, and woman, if you're listening, of giving it greater definition and finding ways to live it out. Those three important words, live it out. It can't stay in your head. It can't stay in your heart. It has to find a way of expression somehow, some way. And another thing is people, especially the youth, they expect things to be simply handed to them without putting in no sort of pain, no blood, no sweat, no tears. Which truly, that's what it takes to live out your dream. That's what it takes to be great. And I guess this year we're going to be talking a whole lot about greatness. I spent a lot of time in a gym by myself, 5 o'clock in the morning, 6 o'clock in the morning, and being in there for 2 hours, not expecting for anybody to show up and train with me, help me out, or do anything. And through doing that on years on end, because at first I genuinely wanted that. I wanted somebody to rebound from me. I wanted somebody to work out with me. I wanted somebody to push me. But something in me told me that was never ever going to come, and stop looking for that and find that within myself. Find that within myself. And all in all, in spite of the craziness that was going on around me, I had something that I could always look forward to and have a place of refuge, and that was the basketball court for me. And for example, if you're an artist, if you're a painter, no matter what, if that's what you love to do, and you're having a rough day, go to that canvas, line by line, paint, until you got the full picture that's in your head and how you're feeling in your heart, and put it together. And unfortunately, people are shying away from that. The previous podcast that I put out, Artificial Living, is essentially we got to go away from that. We got to go away from the copy and paste lifestyle that's on the rise right now, due to social media, due to trends, due to TikTok, and go for authenticity. It's already pushing in that direction. I see that a lot of people are supporting more local things. Me and my bro was just talking about this the other day, and people are, supporting mom and pop shops, supporting local businesses, and it's getting pushed in that direction more than, I guess, the corporations that, in years past that everybody used to be on that wave, including myself. There was a point in time when I ain't get nothing but Nike sweatpants, Nike socks, Nike shoes, Nike shirts, Nike hoodies. That's it. Now I don't really care what shirt or pants that I get, as long as I got them. And when you're living off of real purpose, true purpose, you're going to be motivated by other people and other things, but you're truly going to be motivated. You're going to be self-motivated through what you're doing, because it's the reason why you're waking up in the morning. It's you can't wait. You can't wait to wake up in the morning to do what you do, because you that much in love with it. You got that much passion towards what you're doing. And there's a lot of things that I had personally in my life that was like that. Something I talked about previously in the past is drums was like that for me. And still to this day, I love playing the drums. But when I first started playing the movie Drumline with bald-head Nick Cannon, that was what really made me want to drum. And when I first started playing the drums, I had a book by Buddy Rich where it was breaking down, how to read notes and how to play rudiments from the single stroke roll to a flam tap to a paradiddle, double stroke roll, 7-stroke roll, all of that. And at 9, 10 years old, I was like, I wanted to know how to do all of those things. Not only that, I was also willing to put myself to the test to prove and see what I was about. I drummed for my church, probably like 6th, 7th grade, going throughout high school. I played in concert band, I played in jazz band, and not only that, me and my brother used to play on the boardwalk in Atlantic City while we was in high school. But that's how much we love drumming. My brother drummed too, but that we was passionate about it, and that's how we found the way to live it out. And once I picked up a basketball, that's when, the drums died down for me a lot, to be quite honest. But if you don't have that in your life, find it. It's very, very important that you find it. If not, you most likely going to live a really miserable existence. Worrying about what other people are doing, what they're thinking. I'm worrying about what other people have when that don't matter. When you got a whole dream to live out. And due to the fact that you are here, and for the OGs that's been listening to this for a minute, y'all already know this. Y'all tapped in. I love it. But for those of you this is your first time listening to this, if due to the fact that you're here and you exist, you're one-on-one. There's not another you that's going to come, which means that you are a symbol of a dream in itself that has to get lived out. And speaking of symbols, I got this book in front of me as well, Man and the Symbols, and I'm going to read an excerpt from it from Carl Jung and a bunch of collaborators. But this is something that I've been reading from and putting into other videos. Yet again, I'm on YouTube as well. Type in Purpose Surgeon on YouTube. I got different other content. We got the Ideas to Results series is up. We're talking about the natural world, the personal world, and all different types of things. We're going to get into that later on in this podcast episode. Just a little snippet. But right now, this is something that I want to read from this book. So he says, I have spent more than half a century in investigating natural symbols, and I have come to the conclusion that dreams and their symbols are not stupid and meaningless. On the contrary, dreams provide the most interesting information for those who take the trouble to understand their symbols. The results, it is true, have little to do with such worldly concerns as buying and selling, but the meaning of life is not exhaustively explained by one's business life, nor is the deep desire of the human heart answered by a bank account. So listen up. If y'all think that the end goal to your life is how much money that you have in your bank account, your the things that you acquire from a material standpoint, if you think that is the goal to your life and your dreams and the symbol that you must live out, you are wrong. That's a part to play, but that's not the truth. And even a little bit before that, he was talking about how we consciously are building like off of the original mind that we had that was very, very instinctual and very unconscious. Cause that the original mind. But in a sense, if you create balance within yourself and try to figure yourself out, like, come on now, y'all need to know this, and this is a fact. You will spend the most time with yourself more than anybody in your life. In your whole entire life, you're going to spend the most time with yourself. So why not try to understand who you are? Like, completely. The good, the bad, the and the ugly, and different. And a lot of things, emotions and all of that, we haven't repressed. I'm being one of them. I ain't gonna sit here and act like I'm an exception to the rule, because I'm absolutely not. But more than anybody, I hold myself to high standard and high regard. And also, at the same time, I don't take myself that serious. I take myself serious to a certain extent, but I definitely take moments out my every day to figure out the direction that I'm trying to go in and who I'm trying to be when it's all said and done. When it's all said and done. And me training these kids and people in basketball right now, which it just like this is actually kind of crazy because it just so happened it started happening out of nowhere. I want to say like 2 months ago. And the last one, I was talking about like me coaching and what I was learning from these kids, and it went from me coaching to just simply me doing what I do in the gym. Literally just simply doing what I do in the gym. And knowing that I'm being watched. And parents coming up to me, people coming up to me and asking me for help. Parents wanted me to help them with their kids getting better. And, you know, people wanting to really, really work on their game and telling me that they're serious about working on their game. And I told you guys, I record voice memos. And I got voice memos all the way back. My very first voice memo that I personally did was back in 2018. And these voice memos, I remember I was just asking myself questions about the future, like how does it feel to be a professional basketball player? How does it feel to be in the NBA? All of that. That never happened. But the situation I was in, it was kind of crazy. I was house hopping and really had nowhere to stay or a place to like call my own. I ain't have no car. I was riding a bike around everywhere, dead in the middle of winter. It was a rough time. Real life was a rough time, but I still had that dream, and I wasn't going to give up on that dream, in spite of me being in a crazy situation. And one voice memo that I specifically remember, I couldn't sleep at all, and it had to be like 1:30, 2 o'clock in the morning, and I'm outside and I'm walking, and I'm talking to myself. This voice memo had to be like, how ironic, 17 minutes long. And in the midst of that, I remember me specifically saying, like, I just got an epiphany. Self-mastery. I have to master myself. How can I master myself if I can't even tell my body to go to sleep when I want to? Like I said, I'm in the middle of the night walking, just trying to get my thoughts out. And telling myself, like, I want to be an inspiration to other people, but how can I do that? And this is stuff that I wrote down as well. If my methods aren't credible, if I'm not doing the work, how's people going to ever believe me? And like I said, that was back in like 2018, 2019. And fast forward now, and I got people telling me that, I am helping them and inspiring them, which is like, it's odd. It's humbling. Sometimes it's still kind of hard to believe because I just know that this is only the beginning and my journey is far from over. It's far from over. And the impact that I'm leaving in itself already, I'm surprised by it. And it humbles me every single day. But I'm also knowing in real time that it's not a pipe dream. It's not a matter of opinion. But once you hone into your dream, you real life become a beacon of light that is clearly seen by other people. Whether they mention it or not, they see it. And don't you guys want that for yourselves? If you listening, you definitely want that for yourself. You think about it all the time. And it's your duty to solidify yourself in your own dream. And if it's a true dream, this is going to be beneficial for yourself, but it's also going to be beneficial for the world around you. It's not just going to be intended for you to get what you want. It's not going to be intended for you to get fame. It's not going to be intended for you to get rich. That's not in everybody's cards. But it's intended for you to get fulfillment out of it. Something worthwhile, something that you care about. And don't shy away from that. There's too many people out here right now that's like living a life that they truly don't care about, and they just living it just to get by. They living it just because it pays the bill. They living it because they got to keep up with the Joneses. They living it because they thought that this was the thing that was going to make them happy, but they wrong, and they stuck in something that they can't get out of. Don't trap yourself. This is short and sweet and to the point. You guys are going to be hearing from me extremely, extremely soon. But I just had to put this out to pop off the new year. We on the road to 100. We closing in. And please, subscribe to the YouTube channel. I got videos up there as well. We got the Ideas, the Results series. Talking about the natural world, the personal world, the requirements, the purpose, goal requirements. And yeah, there's going to be more stuff getting put out in the future. Deuces.